One time at St. James, I hear some people did a talk about Coral Gardens Massacre. You know that nice looking community there? Upscale posh. Unfortunately, it have a dark history. Rastafarianism, through a very own spiritual way of life, or what some people call religion, did have it well bad. Them they come like some modern day maroons. And if it did shock about the maroon war, imagine this here one year what them call Bad Friday. Rasta currently praise all over the world for them love a weed, ital food, music, and dreads. You know say one of the most popular look for wear a locks on your head. In Jamaica, Rastafarianism run deep and is viewed as one of the most militant and conscious ways of living. If you want to hear how Rasta start in Jamaica, check out our videos. We'll link them in the description. Now, story time. So we go so, boom. Jamaica get independence in 1962, right? But based on what we read, it never seemed so jolly for Rasta. Them did get enough fight from British rule cause them did against colonization and for them ways of living never did conventional. Many of them study Marcus Garvey teachings and were considered Garveyites. None of them never afraid to let the colonizers know what them about. In the 1950s, the British police evict them, arrest them, normally for weed, as they know say weed to Rasta is a religious sacrament. Some of them did end up in a British police and knock off Rasta. And some of the Rasta them did get arrested and people never see them again. In a 1959, a Rasta man who did work as a security guard and a policeman them kick off down a Coronation Market. The police beat up the Rasta, but the shops nearby never did ever make it slide, so a violent protest go on. The police called him back up, and a police car and fire truck did get burned up. The police end up arrest over 50 Rasta, and guess what them do? No she ever have the dreadlocks off of some of them, and them never did gentle with it. Just think how them did have to restrain some of the Rasta them for do that. Ah boy, sometimes history is a mystery in how it baffle you, cause them things are really did go on. Then later that same year, them target a Rasta leader named Reverend Claudius Henry and accuse him of plotting a revolution and that he did a chat to Fidel Castro. Al Cuba in a distorted. You know that saying what them say? Can't catch Quaco. What you do? Catch him short or you hold him short? So, in a 1960, them arrest the Reverend son. And the ground set him a plot a revolt. Following a declaration of state of emergency, Renald Henry, that are the Reverend son, that's his name, and his co-conspirators were executed. The government then used that for arrest more Rasta, talking about them involved in putting together a communist revolution. Wanna follow so far? Make we know in the comments. Like, you know, share, subscribe. Because we have more coming for you here. And what you think about the story so far? Let's continue. You know, say independence come for Jamaica 2 years after the 1960. But enough people did anti-Rasta. The government and the police view Rasta as a security threat. And listen to this piece of brightness. In a police training schools, the police them would train using an image of Rasta as them target practice. No sir. Some everyday people also them never like Rasta and so them beat them up enough time. So you know what Rasta do? Some of them avoid public spaces. So me I tell you all of them read them incidents here for a reason. Because them stuff here pile up to Bad Friday. So Bad Friday wasn't the first time them did experience all kind of injustice towards Rasta. So let's talk about that today. Now, one thing you need to understand before we talk about Bad Friday, it was said that two groups of Rasta did in a Mobile, the dreadlocks and the Comsum. The dreadlocks live on Railway Lane and the Comsum squatted in Cora Gardens. We take that directly from our report. So one of them live and one of them squat. Okay then. According to research, they most squatting in Cora Gardens and live in relative peace in the community. And them did do some small farming there. That piece of land though, where them did a squat pan in Cora Gardens, was a larger property where we know as Rosal Estate and the mansion. We believe them say it was sold to somebody them called Douglas. The government and the landlords did see Rasta as a problem, as them did want repurpose the land for tourism. Them regularly send police to evict Rasta, and during one of them eviction, something bad happened. Them got attack one Rasta when named Rudolph Franklin, shot him up 6 times in his stomach and leave him for drunk raw. But Rudolph survived. Him do surgery, and one doctor tell him say, when the plastic rot when them put in him stomach, I eat that. Him not even did get to properly leave the hospital before them arrest him for ganja, and him get 6 months in a prison. So what you think Rudolph do after all of that and him get released? Him did want revenge against the overseer. I'm seeing here the overseer named Edward Fowler, who attempt to evict him. But another reporter said Douglas, because Douglas never treat them good. Now, would they pan April 11, 1963, which was the Holy Thursday before the Bad Friday or Good Friday. But that Thursday day never so holy. Rudolph did ask the two group of Rasta we mentioned to join him in burning down Mobile. But them did refuse because Rasta to them to defend peace and love. Franklin go forward with him plan with 5 other people. And instead of putting more fire upon all of Mobile, them circle for Douglas gas station. One report say the Rasta them go at Douglas gas station with machete, spears, and set fire to the gas station. Them say one attendant did that at the time, but him did run away to a nearby motel. Police reached the gas station, and the report states say 2 police, 3 Rasta, and 3 civilians drop out. Police then track and knock off the other Rasta them who did it involve. So all of this reached government now. And on April 12, 1963, the Prime Minister at the time, Alexander Bustamante, him give an order for bringing all Rasta, dead or alive. The police and the military go in a neighborhoods and Rastafari encampment. Them arrest Rasta, them cut off them locks, them torture them, abuse them, persecute them. And some estimate that as many as 150 Rasta did get detained over the next year. Ooh, what a story, eh? Wanna think? And that them call Bad Friday, the Cora Gardens Massacre, and it have several names. So that event has been commemorated yearly by the Rastafarian community in Jamaica. And in 2011, a documentary film about the incident was released titled Bad Friday, Rastafari After Coral Gardens. Now, there was some government investigation and recognition. In 2015, public defender Arlene Harrison Henry submitted a report to the Parliament of Jamaica detailing an investigation of the Coral Gardens incident and recommended that the government provide financial reparations for the injuries, abuses, and deaths caused by its actions against the Rastafarian community. In April 2017, the government of Jamaica issued a formal apology for the incident, taking responsibility and stated that the incident should have never happened. It should have never happened. The government then established a trust fund of Jamaican 10 million for survivors as reparations for the incident. The government also promised to recognize Pinnacle, St. Catherine Parish, a site with historical relevance to the Rastafarian community, as a protected site under the Jamaican National Heritage Trust. And that Pinnacle there is another story. You want to find out what happened, not true? Subscribe, stay tuned, share, like, comment. We have so much more coming your way. And thank you for the view, for blessing our channel with your presence, for looking after yourself and each other. And remember, stay blessed always.